I'm Rob Phillips, and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a 45-minute yin yoga sequence. For props, I'm going to recommend that you have a couple of blocks and a blanket. If you don't have them, don't worry, I'm sure you'll still be able to follow along anyway. If you want to stay in touch with me, please consider joining my email list. There's a link in the description down below. For now, we're going to start on our back in Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined butterfly. So as you set this up, this is a place where using props could be a good idea. So you can grab 2 blocks if you have them. Again, if you don't, it's not necessarily a problem. You'll just want to listen to your body. So for reclined butterfly, we take the feet together, we let the knees fall apart from one another, and we can rest the legs on the blocks, or if it feels okay, they can hang out in space here. Arms open wide, or if you'd prefer, hands could rest on the belly if you want to feel your breath. With the setup, closing the eyes and beginning to feel yourself settle here. Beginning to really feel yourself arrive here. Remembering here, as always when we start our practice, to let go of any sense you have of expectation of what might be coming. Any holding on to events that might have happened earlier in your day. And instead, allowing yourself to rest in this moment, to be here fully in this experience. As we settle, we tune in to the body, we tune into our breath. Relaxing the body in a general sense, allowing for a sense of melting, releasing towards the earth here more and more. And just knowing if there's some wandering of the thoughts, if we're not quite present, if we feel a little distracted, that's okay. Let that settle gradually when it's ready or as it's ready. But keep feeling the experience of your body in this moment. Keep feeling your breath here as it comes and it goes. And even as we're just getting started here, can you already feel the shift of your intentions? Can you feel the sense of landing and arriving here more and more? Letting go of all that you might not need in terms of physical effort or resistance. Even mental effort or resistance can start to fall away here too. Let's take just a few more slow breaths, dropping into our practice, landing here for this experience. Let's take a gentle inhale breath here through our nose. We can open up our mouths, exhaling to let all that go. From here, you can open your eyes if they were closed, and we'll be remaining here on our back for the next pose. But first, let's extend our legs nice and long. Let them relax, let them shake out, even like roll a little bit in the hip joint, kind of free things up. First pose we will be coming into here is stirrup pose. So you're going to gently draw the knees into the chest. One knee in each hand. Start to separate the thighs just enough here that you feel that little bit of release happening on the inner line of your legs, on the inner line of the groin and the hips here. And so from here, some options. You could stay exactly as you are here, just kind of cradling the knees. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you could hold on behind the bend of the knees. That would look something like this. If you want to go even a little further still, you could hold on to the edges of the feet, which looks, of course, a little bit more like what we call happy baby pose usually. There's no advantage to going deeper if your body doesn't like that. So again, choose the edge that feels right for you. Place where we can feel the pose, notice the effects. Doesn't need to feel easy, but it shouldn't feel at all painful or sharp. Shouldn't feel like you're compromising the body in any way. And if you feel anything at all like that, just back out, adjust your alignment. Always taking your time to ease into these poses. Once you found that reasonable alignment for yourself here, relaxing even more. Settling even more into the shape. As you settle, what does that feel like in the body? What is the experience here in this moment? And considering still, even asking yourself, what remains as we slow down like this? As we take our time like this? That deeper sense of awareness, that deeper sense of connection is really the essence of the work that I try to share here on this practice, on this channel rather. Just a few more moments, just a few more breaths here in this very first pose. Could you settle into it even more? Take these final few moments. Whenever it naturally arrives, one more gentle inhale breath like this. And then exhaling, release the legs all the way out onto the floor. Extend in, just feel that release, feel that reset. You could even roll the legs a little bit on the floor. You can wiggle the fingers a bit if you're holding on to the legs. But after that tiny bit of movement, just settle and be still here. Feel the resonance, feel the release here in the body. And again, feel the sense of dropping into this. Feel the sense of landing here more and more. Let's take a gentle inhale breath through our nose. Open up your mouth, exhale, and let it go. We're going to come up off our back here so you can walk the legs in, move, even like sway a little side to side, free things up for yourself, and then use that momentum, use that energy to roll your way over onto either side. From your side there, you'll gently press your way up and come into a seated position. So from your seat, we'll set up for where we're going to go next. This is a place where having a blanket, I think, is a good idea to pad the knees. If you don't have a blanket, you can always like double up your mat or use any sort of soft cushion you have. You may even find that you don't need it. It's mainly just to give the knees a little padding here. So with this setup, we're going to find our way onto our hands and knees. We set up into a tabletop. But then the pose we're coming into is called outriggers pose. So to set up outriggers pose, you're going to take your left foot out by your side. So the foot could either remain flat on the floor, or if you'd prefer, you could rest more on the edge of the foot. That's just a personal preference thing. But to dial this in, you're going to shift your weight until you start to feel a nice release forming on that innermost line of your left leg here. And so remember, the edge you want to feel is noticeable but not intense. As you get lower, you may find it's possible to come down to your elbows. That's how I usually practice this pose. You can also lean into blocks or another prop if you would like. And while we're generally still, keep in mind, you might make some micro shifts, some micro adjustments here if you need to. When you lean into the arms like this, remember, make sure that you're not getting tight around the shoulders, around the neck or the upper back. And this type of pose, of course, requires a little bit of effort, right? So engage enough to support yourself, but still, we're generally relaxing. We're generally letting go here. And we're tuning in and noticing what we are feeling in the body. We allow for the physical sensations to keep us anchored here in this present moment. Just a few more breaths, a few more moments here to truly feel the pose, to truly connect with it. Can you feel that final complete breath right here? And slowly, as you are ready to, beginning to rise up, coming away from the floor. As you come up, you can extend that forward leg back behind you, shake it up, free things up for yourself. We're going to rest briefly in a neutral pose. I'm going to go for a child's pose. You could also rest on your belly if this isn't comfortable for your hips or your knees. That would be totally fine. But resting here, settling here, taking some deeper breaths. How is the body responding to the work that we have just done? How is the mind and the nervous system responding to the work that we have just done? Let's take a gentle inhale breath through our nose. A gentle exhale breath out our mouth. We can slowly rise up, coming away from the floor, and of course we'll dial up the second side here. So I'm not going to shift around here because we've already seen the first side, so we kind of know where we're going, right? So from your hands and knees, this time you'll take your right leg somewhere out alongside you, and again, the foot could be flat on the floor, or you could rest on the edge of the foot. You can even play with the angle of the foot. All those little details you can use to fine-tune your experience. Start to shift the weight of the body until you feel a nice release on the inner line of the leg. And as I said on first side, for my body, I like to drop down low to the floor. You could lean into blocks. You could even have your arms more straight. Again, we're all going to look a little bit different in this shape. One of the kind of principles of yin yoga is there's no correct alignment. The correct alignment is the one that feels right for your body. There's no universal rule. Again, you'll need a little effort to support yourself, but we want to be mindful that we don't become tight in the shoulders, the upper back. You may find yourself micro-adjusting, fine-tuning a little bit. That's fine too. Don't hold rigid. And again, feel the physical effects of the pose as the main object of the attention. What we're cultivating is deep mindfulness of the body. That mindfulness is what reminds us to be present. Please take a final complete breath like you are. And then carefully start to find your way up, away from the pose. You might do a little movement, little shift, just kind of free all of this up for yourself here. And then once you've worked all of that out, let's shift and we'll find our way all the way forwards onto our belly. So you don't need the blanket unless you want it. You can clear that out and just come to rest here, flat on the floor. We'll linger here for a nice minute or so to let ourselves reset, to let ourselves rebound. And just remember, while you feel that reset, while you feel that rebound, that through this time, the body is integrating what you've just done. So start to feel how those effects will spread through the whole body, not just the areas we would expect, not just the obvious targets of where the pose was working. Let's take a gentle inhale breath through our nose. A gentle exhale breath out our mouths. Coming up away from the floor here, you can gently press yourself back. We'll pass briefly through a child's pose, but then we'll come up into a comfortable seat here. So we're going to come into a couple seated poses. So I'd recommend that you fold up your blanket, give yourself a cushion, give yourself something to sit on top of. You can also use a pillow or whatever you might have at home, of course, to make that work. Actually, let me shift this, sorry. So from here, I'm going to give two options for the next pose, and the option you choose will largely depend on what works well for your hips and your knees. So start with the legs nice and straight. Let them relax, let them shake out. From here, the simpler option, the gentler option is to come into a simple cross leg with the left leg in front of the right. So I'm kind of making a nice kind of neat cross here. If your knees and your hips will allow it, we can go deeper and come into a shoelace pose where we stack the left knee on top of the right. If you try this or really either of the poses and they irritate your knees, back away, adjust. Again, you can use props if you need extra support. I'm going to use blocks underneath the hands here just to give myself a little bit of feedback. And so once you've got this dialed up, keep in mind you could sit nice and tall or any amount. Lean into the fold. Start to shift and move your way forwards here. There can certainly be a little bit of rounding in the spine, softening of the shoulders. But make sure that you're not collapsing. Make sure you don't feel hunched or overly tight here in the pose either. Again, notice how the body is responding here over time. Notice, again, how the mind will settle, which doesn't mean that the mind is quiet, doesn't mean we never get lost in thoughts. But what tends to happen is those thoughts feel a little less sticky, right? A little less persuasive. And when we start to really relax, when we start to let go, we notice the natural quiet that's already here. The stillness that's always there beneath whatever turbulence might show up. Take a final complete breath like you are here. Slowly begin to raise up, come out of that fold. Carefully, from whatever version you chose here, release the legs. Let them extend, relax the shoulders. And let's just pause here. Let's take a good few breaths. Feel, once again, that release, that decompression in the hips, bit of energy moving, and that integration that I've been talking about. Feeling, yet again, what it's like to just be here. From here, when you're ready to, let's dial up the second side of that pose. So from here, as with first side, if it makes more sense for your body, you can take like a simple cross leg, right shin goes in front of the left, and stack the knees, kind of align them so that there's no discomfort, even if that means using props. If your knees and hips will safely allow you to cross into a tighter version, a shoelace version, you can do that here as well. Again, any discomfort in the knees, any sharp sensation, back away. You don't want to risk that or compromise things for that, right? So from this basic setup here, once again, I'm going to use blocks under the hands. That is optional. You certainly don't have to do that. And then find an inhale breath for some length. An exhale breath, moving forwards towards your edge, wherever that might be. And some amount of rounding is kind of built into this pose. Just make sure that doesn't become more tense or tight. We want to feel spacious in our general alignment. What does this pose feel like in this moment? What remains as we slow down, as we really settle in to this experience? And just a few more deep breaths. Can we soften any remaining tension? Can we invite, again, the awareness back to this moment, back to this experience? Let's take a final complete breath, just like we are. Slowly, we can begin to raise up and come out and away from our fold. From here, now that we're up, we can gradually extend both legs. Once again, letting them relax. Once again, letting them reset. And from here, we're going to return. We're going to find our way forwards onto our belly. So just clear everything out here for yourself. Find your way down towards the earth and be calm here. Feel the resonance and feel the reset in your body. As I'm looking at my monitor here, I noticed sun has kind of moved away from my window. It's starting to get dark, which is nice. Feel how that's kind of being mirrored within the practice. Feel that kind of gradual settling of our overall energy. Take a few more deep breaths here, enjoying this reset, enjoying this rebound moment. From here, we're going to remain on our belly, but we'll set up into Sphinx pose, lifting the chest, rising up onto our elbows, the forearms. Feel a nice widening across the shoulders if you'd like. Totally okay if the shoulders relax, though. That's just a preference thing. Remember, for every pose, there's no quote-unquote correct alignment. You may do the same pose differently from day to day, depending on how your body feels, depending on, where you're at. We want to feel just a mild sense of compression in our lower back. Nothing sharp or aggressive. Maybe just the tiniest hint of effort to support yourself, but let everything else beyond that go. Just what do you feel here in your body in this moment? What remains beyond that? What is here beneath any fluctuations or turbulence? And take a final complete breath right here. Use a slow exhale breath, rolling or releasing all the way down towards the floor. As you come down, a few deeper breaths into the spine, into the shoulders. Feel that energy flow, feel that real sense of rebound and release. Use your hands from here as you exhale. Gently press back, find child's pose. Round, reset just for a few breaths, just a few moments. From here, you can start to lift yourself up and find your way all the way onto your back. And so as you lie down, just pausing there again for a few moments. Feel the release, feel that settling here. We are not quite done with the sequence here, but moving in that direction, landing here on our spine. From here, we're going to set up for a final pair of twists. So you can walk both feet in, have your knees bent. Cross your left leg on top of the right, stacking the knees. And there you'll take a gentle inhale breath, and slowly as you exhale, roll the legs across to the right. Open your left shoulder out onto the floor. Let the body feel nice and heavy here, just kind of a natural unwinding, natural wringing out of things. Even as you settle, even as you drop in here, noticing, observing. using the physical connection here to keep you connected with each moment. And take one more complete breath like you are. Slowly begin to wind in the legs, release that cross, and shift, sway, a little reset. Just pause for a few moments here. Feel as the spine neutralizes, feel as that all balances out for you. And from here, when you're ready to, you can cross the right leg over top of the left, again, stacking the knees. From there, you'll take a gentle inhale breath, and slowly, as you exhale, roll the legs across the left into that twist. And place your right arm, shoulder beside you where it feels comfortable. Body gets nice and still, nice and relaxed here. Feel the pull of gravity, feel the pose do its natural work. Feel what remains as we slow down, as we take our time here. And take one more complete breath like you are. Slowly from there, begin to wind and draw your way back into the middle. And take a few breaths to sway, just kind of free things up. Any last movements that you would like. And then from here, we'll extend our legs along onto the floor, setting up for Shavasana. And I think it's gotten even a little bit darker still in my space. At home, you might consider dimming your lights as well to have a similar vibe going if you'd like. Ensuring that you feel comfortable here, that you can truly let go here for these final few minutes. Take a gentle inhale breath through your nose. Open up your mouth to exhale and let absolutely everything go here. So taking a final few moments as you are on your back and just noticing what has settled and released. Lingering in that for just a final breath or two. When you're ready, you can start to find some small movements, waking things up again little by little. Those movements help you find your way onto your side. Gently press up into a comfortable seat and close your eyes as you get there. Here, take a final few moments and just notice what has your practice shifted for you? What has opened up or released along the way? And join the hands in front of the heart. So again, and as always, my deep thanks to each of you for sharing your practice, and may our practice bring benefit to all beings. And we bow. So, and thank you so very much for joining.